Probably a good thing we got rid of those sprats before they got onto the ship and started chewing up the cables. Then Ada definitely wouldn't have been happy with us. Are you okay?
It can't help itself. Please do not be concerned.
Well, I am sort of concerned, but I won't bother to help you still. You know, best of luck and all that.
Not today, Sam. I am not in the mood for a deep clean. Oh, all right. Some culprit who shall not be named spilled Rizzo's lemon slap on my console.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, that was me. No, excuse me. Excuse me, Sam. Oh, you are a little bit unnerving. Right, let us get down to Gorgon proper.
We are now in orbit above Gorgon.
Yep, we've not moved. I do appreciate you sort of doing the 1 meter skip for the effect. As I say, let's get down to that landing pad, Ada. We don't really have a lot of time to lose. There's no real point hanging around.
I don't know what kind of mess Spacer's Choice made here, but it figures they'd leave it to someone else to clean up.
I agree. It's not nearly as pretty under this shield when you're actually on the surface. It's a lot more... It's almost beautiful from above, from the manor. It also kind of makes you realize just how much Spacer Choice must have valued Olivia. She has her own terraformer on her own asteroid. That is luxury. And it really is a bit of a state. That's not blood, is it? No, it's just trash. Hello? Are you friendly? Where are you going? Where you going, little fella? Is it trying to lead us somewhere? It's gonna have to wait. Can we turn this off? Insert ID card. Disable evacuation notice. Oh. That's better. That would have gotten on my nerves pretty damn quickly. Now, I was told there would be a bar, the Sprat Shack. Oh, the Sprat was heading to the Sprat Shack. Are we gonna find more Sprats up there? Terminal. Before we head on up there, let's just have a nosy round.
Whatever happened here, we're not gonna be next. Be ready.
Yeah, we won't be next if I have anything to say about it. Open sesame here. Let's get this open. We're taking all of that. Anything else? Terminal is not active. Damn. That's what I was curious about when I looked through the window. Okay, let's not stray too far away just yet. Do these hurt? No, they're just... It's like some form of energy field, right? Stay close, you two. I almost expected to step off the ship shooting, and now that we're not, it's a little unnerving. Hello.
If you need them. No one lasts long on Gorgon unprepared.
Well, I wasn't expecting to find a merchant down by the landing pad at any rate.
Is that what my thoughts sound like? Look, I've been standing near that alarm too long. You looking for supply, stranger? Let's stock up here. If you run low on bullets out in Gorgon's far reaches, there ain't no one round here liable to help you out.
I didn't even think about that.
Let me know if you're looking for something particular.
Why would you bother setting up shop here? Near the evacuation alarm without going off constantly? I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it. And I can assume it wasn't anything urgent if you just stood around listening to it.
Huh? Oh, you don't gotta worry about that. Something to do with that scrap project Gorgon from years back. Thanks for turning it off, by the way. I'd have lost my mind if the damn thing had gone on much longer.
Doesn't it worry you that they all evacuated and you came down here anyway? Couldn't you have moved away from the incessant alarm?
Well, this is the perfect spot for trading. Would have been better without being told to evacuate all the time, but the control terminal wouldn't listen to physical persuasion.
No,
I
computers
know,
are like
'cause even
that.
Von Hoffman couldn't bash it in. And I seen that tough son of a gun throw a man clean across the Sprat Shack one time like he were a toss ball.
Do you get a lot of footfall here then on Gorgon? And it doesn't really seem the nicest place to get a lot of trade.
You mean you came out to this asteroid without knowing nothing about it? Me too. Heard it was wild here and couldn't resist.
And that explains your business
Trouble
choice.
is, if you wander off to somewhere you oughtn't be, like way out in Gorgon's farthest reaches, odds are slimmer of your bits finding their way to my pockets. If you want my advice, stick close to the Sprat Shack, unless you fancy having your limbs torn off and eaten.
Would there be a lot of limb tearing here? Because I don't fancy that at all, but I sort of heard from a friend of a friend that can happen.
I figured not. Look, I ain't stopping you from wandering elsewhere. But if you do, be sure you watch out for the Marauders. That's the #1 thing. And the Mance, I guess.
Mantis Worms.
You watch out for Marauders, Mance, and Charles from accounting, and you'll probably be fine.
Charles from accounting? Who's Charles from accounting?
Only the meanest Marauder on Gorgon, and also anywhere else. That man is crazier than a bag of canids and twice as likely to bite. He will bust your head open like an overripe mock apple if he so much as sees you. I ain't joking. He'll snap you in half like stale bread noodles.
Thanks for the warning.
No, you don't get it.
No, I think I get it.
Charles from accounting is like... Imagine if you took 3 of the most howling mad Marauders you could find and mashed them together. That's Charles.
It's making me think of Harvey, Olivia's partner. He's been exposed to something, and with a title like Charles from accounting, I think he may well have been Charles from accounting for Project Gorgon. I mean, I'm assuming then he is physically quite strong.
That and a rocket launcher.
Yeah, no, the rocket launcher's the thing I'll be worried about then. Go back to the part about the rocket launcher.
Did I not mention that? Right, sorry. He's got a rocket launcher.
Yeah, okay. Is he any good with it? How did he get a rocket launcher? Well, I suppose Spacer's Choice was here. They had weaponry and an armory, a little army. I suppose they'd have kept a rocket launcher around. Is he... I am going to assume he's good with it then.
I don't know. Hard to guess how many he's killed, given the explosions tend to obliterate any bodies. I'm joking. No one bothers looking for bodies. Look, long story short, you do not fuck with Chuck. Best to avoid the Marauder camp entirely. That's my 2 bits on the
I
matter.
suppose the rhyme is to help people remember, but I think if a man came at me with a rocket launcher, I'd already remember. I don't think we're in danger of running into that any soon. But Charles from accounting, while we're on the subject...
Yeah?
Why is he called the from accounting part?
His name is Charles and he used to work in accounting?
Well, it is about what I expected, but nobody accuses you lot of being creative, do they? But it does make sense.
Anything else you needed?
I suppose you don't have any more info on where in accounting he used to work, or where from accounting. Presuming it's Project Gorgon. Speaking of, what can you tell me about Project Gorgon?
Only that Spacer's Choice shut it down in a big hurry. From what I heard, some of their folks got left behind even. Don't seem like the project ended well.
And all of a sudden, now I think we need to speak to Charles from accounting. Oh, how are we going to subdue a man who's got a rocket launcher and the strength of 3 men, and is also insane? Well, we'll worry about that later when we see him. What do you have for sale, by the way? Have you got a lot of good stock?
Found a pickaxe in the mine like none I've ever seen before. Could be awful useful if you're the violent type.
I like to think I'm the talky dashing type. No, he wasn't kidding about the pickaxe. The original brand name Auto and Fortunato never caught on. It's a bit of a mouthful. I'm not surprised it didn't catch on at all. I am kind of tempted to pick it up though. Even though that none of us really would use it. It's terrible. It's terrible. Handy deconstruction. Oh, yeah. I don't know why, but I'm going to pick it up. That's perhaps one of the worst purchases I've ever made. But I will stand by it. It's my money to waste. Come along then. Is it the Sprat Shack that we're heading to? There was that white sprat that went running up. Shipping and receiving. Is that... Oh, there it is. Is this white sprat a mascot of sorts? Hello? Oh yeah, so it's awfully docile and tame. Domesticated. Ah, oh, he set up shop on the lift. That's what that cover was. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, I take that back. I'm just being disoriented. Right. Take the armor parts. Hello. Oh, you're a cutie. And you're all cuties. Right, this is a lift that does still work. And this is a terminal and a serialized law and organization guardian. Do we want to try turn that on? It makes me uncomfortable just being around it. Okay. A Spacer's Choice property, Gorgon. Welcome user, Tran-D. Notice, electricity rationing is in effect. By accessing this terminal, you consent to paying 1 bit per every option selected. Oh, it's only 1 bit. Fine, fine, fine. Employee Tran Dominic currently owes 9,508 bits for every Pay the bill. Pay the bill. Why would I pay the bill? I don't want to pay his bill. Shipment history. Please select one of the following options. Outgoing shipments. Shipment ID X00's continuation. Ship name Perseus. Voyage Terra 2 Loop E1. Port of load Gorgon. Port of discharge Edgewater. Discharge date 2350. 2,000 cartons containing redacted 3 discharged staff, 5 reassigned staff. Manifest content exceeds the recommended maximum weight of this vessel. Why is delivering 2,000 cartons of redacted unnerving? What about... Okay, return to outgoing. What is in Z42? Ship name Perseus. Again. Terra 1 loop. SB4. Port of load Gorgon. Port of discharge Stella Bay. House 2344. 100 cartons containing prototype redacted. 2 tons of raw ore of redacted. 15 reassigned staff. Manifest contents exceeds the recommended maximum weight of this vessel yet again. What exactly is the recommended weight of this vessel? Because this doesn't seem very heavy. Other than the 2 tons of raw ore, that's quite heavy. Shipment, incoming shipments. 041 5TH. Vessel name, Ethics Gradient. Voyage, Charybdis Loop G3, Protocol, Tartarus. Oh, port of load, Tartarus, port of discharge, Gorgon. Wait. Port of load, Tartarus, the prison. Contents 25, volunteers. Volunteers, my backside. 350 cartons containing 100 units each, sterile injection ampules. 30 high-pressure steel cylinders containing oxygen. And the other one? Port of load, Byzantium. Port of discharge. 2350. 3 corporate security squads containing 3 fire teams of each. 3 fire team. 500 rounds of light ammunition. 2,000 rounds of heavy ammunition. 1 flat containing 10 units Moonman standee. 1 flat containing 10 units. What? 1 flat? Oh, do they mean like a pallet? Why would they need 3 fire teams? What went down before the end? Oh! You active? Hello? You're not unfriendly.
This unit is a friend to all debtors.
Okay. Oh. Messages. Thank you for using GIMSI, your employer-sanctioned messaging system. Friendly reminder, your messages are company property. Unauthorized reproduction, distribution, or deletion of GIMSI content may result in early termination of your employment contract. Incoming messages from See Mostly. Various observations on the Argosi's rate of export with a reprimand. Mr. Tran, are you aware of the concept of relativity? This is a rhetorical question. I am aware that Space's Choice training does not include business philosophy in its curriculum. Consider this a remedial education. Broadly, relativity is an economic idea that describes productivity in terms of relationship. For example, from your point of view, the Argosi, i.e. your, freight depot exports shipments at a perfectly reasonable rate. However, from the point of view of your enterprising colleague, i.e. S. Reynard, the Argosi's freight depot exports shipments at a positively pathetic rate. If a single one of your colleagues is capable of 3 times your productivity, then relative to your colleague, the Argosi freight depot is a failure. The rubric of your success is measured relative to your fastest, strongest, and most productive colleagues. Do you understand? Please take a moment to consider the contents of this message and commit them to your heart. Furthermore, please select one of the following reprimands below and append it to your permanent record. A. The quality of your work is unacceptably low by Space's Choice standards. B. The quality of your work is unacceptably low relative to that of your colleagues. C. By receiving an official reprimand on your permanent record, you have violated Space's Choice Code of Conduct, which will result in an official reprimand. Work fortifies the spirit. See Mostly. Is that a joke of their name? See Mostly? They're giving the reprimands? I'm not sure. Outgoing messages. To Reynard S. Buddy, I don't know how you managed to log 3 times the number of shipments I do out of that miserable shack you call an office. But you need to cut it the F out. Mostly's been poking at the Argosi's ship rate numbers again, and he's started asking why Lewis and I can't pack as quickly together as you can alone. I'm thinking maybe I should tell him that you're dipping into the supply of prototype adrenatime. I don't think he'd like that. Do you? Shit, maybe you are. If that's the case, well, maybe you ought to come lend me and Lewis a hand. When we load up on the next haul of test subject corpses, get yourself a real good view of what Chem's wonder drug does. They were working on a new adrenatime. Compound X. Is that what Compound X is? So, somebody was using the new substance, and they'd tripled the output of 2 workers, so their output alone was 6 times that. Displaying archived messages from L. Velaquez. Shipment inquiry, high priority. Dom, you gotta help me out. The Monarch's delivery's gone MIA, and now the big guy at corporate is messaging my personal terminal looking for answers. Not Mostly, not Goodfellow. That seersucker suit-wearing M-fur from Byzantium, Bancroft. Your kid cousin still works in Cascadia, right? Do you think he could hoof it over to Stellar Bay and just, I don't know, poke around the port, see if it's there? The shipment's ID is Z42ML8TXY, the transport we packed last week. I know it's a lot to ask, and you know how I feel about begging for handouts, but I swear to the law, if I looked out my door, that Bancroft guy'd be there in the street slapping a wrench against his palm like a mob boss in one of those bootleg serials from Groundbreaker. Please, man, you know how fond I am of my kneecaps. Like Z42ML8TXY. Shipment history, outgoing. So they lost 100 cartons containing prototype, 2 tons of raw ore of whatever the redacted is. I'm going to assume it's involved in making the prototype that's redacted. And the 15 staff. Oh, it's gone up. It's 9,535. Is it? Oh. Why am I compelled to pay this bill? I'm very much compelled to pay the bill. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like I can just hack the terminal into thinking I paid it. But I'm very curious. Oh, hang on a minute. If we pay the bill, will the system then recognize us as Dominic Tran? Is this going to be an investment? Because I'm sure there's going to be at least nearly 10,000 bits. I'm sure there's going to be 10,000 bits worth of salvage. And who knows what we're going to get paid from Minnie after this job, depending on what we find. Oh, you know what? We're doing it. We're gonna do it. Something in my gut says this is the right move, but I have been wrong before. Bits removed from employee account. Currently owes 0 bits. Account paid in full. Congratulations on being a stellar team player. Exit. Do you have anything to say about paying off my debt?
Energy efficiency is its own reward.
Wait, did I lose any bits for that? No, I didn't lose any bits for that. So we've just paid from this other person's account, and as soon as I choose this option, we now owe 2 bits. What was the point? Almost. I don't understand. We've not actually paid anyone with our money. I'm going to assume this Dominic Tran is now out there very confused why 9,000 bits has left their account. Or B, Dominic's dead and we don't need to worry about it. Right, let us pay a visit to the local establishment, shall we? Right, get your swagger on, ladies. It's time to make an impression. Never mind, ladies. We might not have wanted to have bothered.
Come here. Let's have a chat.
Alright.
Alright, inspection time. Look at my eyes for as long as you can without blinking. Starting now.
Okay, I'll just keep looking.
Good. Look up. Now look down.
Are you making me look a fool? Given how dangerous this Compound X seems, let's just do what he says.
You're doing swell. Now, name and occupation.
Well, I'm Gavin, captain of the Unreliable.
Good enough for me. You're cleared to pass. That was a sanity check.
Right.
If you had changed like the others, it'd be in your eyes. You'd also be drooling, cursing, and making a mess of the place. Welcome to the Sprat Shack. You can head on downstairs.
Sanity check. Hang on a minute. Also, just before we move on, I think the drooling, cursing, and, the general irrational behavior would have been the first sign more than, do my eyes. But I suppose it probably shows in the eyes, first of all. Most signs that something's not quite right appear in the eyes first. What do you exactly mean when you said people have changed?
Every day, salvagers and scrappers set out to comb the ruins and make their fortune. The ones who come back, they aren't always the same men or women who left. They change. Never for the better.
They're exposed to something then. What happens when people change? You mentioned the drooling and the swearing.
First, they get real twitchy and paranoid, shouting at folks who aren't there. Then they smell like they soiled themselves, on account of how they soiled themselves.
Yep, that'll do it.
After that, they're gone. Nothing but animals wearing human skin. Seen it happen myself. It's never pretty.
Where exactly are we? The Sprat Shack. What is this place? This is awfully tight. Well, I say tight security. It's just a man by a chair, but I've never had to have a sanity check to enter a bar before.
This is the Sprat Shack, the most remote watering hole in the system. Rule number 1, no fighting. Rule number 2, wipe your feet. on the way downstairs.
Oh, yes, boss.
We're the only hospitable place on this rock. I want to keep it that way. That's why we have rule number 3. When people change, they stay outside, where they belong.
Like animals. I would like to ask you something else.
Just don't ask me to dance.
I wasn't planning to, but now that you've said it, that's all I can think about. What kinds of people come to the Sprat Shack?
This is a sublight bar, so most of our regulars come to plunder the old labs. The facility's locked up behind miles of red tape, so progress is slow. A lot of time to drink and reevaluate, then venture out and try again.
So basically, people treat this like a motherlode waiting to be unlocked. They think their riches await, so long as they can get to them. I imagine there's going to be all kinds of, well, mercenaries and treasure hunters and hopefuls around here. And what do you know about Gorgon?
Something bad happened here. Spacer's Choice was developing chemicals. The kind with nasty side effects. Marauders outnumber the rest of us 10 to 1. Either they came from Gorgon, or something draws them here. I don't know which is worse. This place is under a dark cloud, stranger. That's all I know. If you want the history of the Sprat Shack, talk to Lex behind the bar.
Lex behind the bar, eh? Sounds like a nice chap. And I'm going to assume the dark cloud might have something to do with the chemicals, if you weren't being metaphorical. And what is it you do? I get that you're security, but have you got any other responsibilities?
Bouncer, bodyguard, law enforcer. I make sure the Sprat Shack gets only the highest caliber of clientele.
And I thought this place was gonna be fun.
I mean, you don't have to wait outside,
I hope
Nyoka.
you look the other way just this once.
We get a lot of brand-loyal corporate types, and a lot of cutthroat freelancer types. Both sides have their share of dirty scoundrels. And I hate dirt.
No, I'm just a scoundrel. I'm not a dirty scoundrel. I don't know if that makes it any better in your eyes, but I hope it does. I'll see you around.
If you're heading downstairs, order something sweet.
And wipe my feet. I remember. I'm just gonna have a quick nosy over around here too. Oh, sorry.
What do you think you're
No,
doing?
I took it without thinking. Look, I'm very handsy. I'm very, very handsy. Look, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to do anything. Look, I'm just gonna keep moving.
Just don't let me get you again, all right?
Sorry. Yeah, look with your eyes, ladies, not with your fingers.
Smell that? Cheap whiskey and stale cigarettes. My kind of place.
Been an age since I had a good trip of kale. Hope they've got it on tap.
Oh, this is quite the place, actually. Looks a little bit more like a prison than a bar, with all these different levels, but it's cozy enough. I see the Sprats are welcome. Lex, behind the bar, is it?
Welcome to the Sprat Shack. First one's on the house, and I won't even water it down. What'll it be?
That's very generous of you. Nah, I'm good. Let's stay sober for this.
So, you just wandered in for the genteel conversation. Suit yourself. I assume you're here for salvage.
Of sorts. You got any leads?
Even if I did, I ain't supposed to play favorites. Most of my regulars are sublight scavengers. They pick over the ruins of Gorgon, spend their earnings at the bar, and head back out the next day. Vicious cycle, but that's life. You're the first new face I've seen in a while.
I can't imagine you get a lot of footfall around here other than the usuals. I gotta ask, let's find a little bit more about Gorgon first. I don't want asking about Lucky to set off any red flags that makes people avoid me. What do you know about Gorgon? You been here a while?
Spacer's Choice used to brew pharmaceuticals in these parts. That's why the asteroid smells like an old gym sock.
That's probably a dangerous
They say
sign.
Adrenatime came from here, just down the road at the old R&D lab. Very hush-hush back in the day.
Okay, so that log we read then, that was about the actual Adrenatime that we have. Makes me a little worried about what we're pumping into our systems, but Any of the regulars? Would they know any more about Gorgon?
Roscoe might tell you more.
Roscoe.
He spent some time around here before the bar opened up. I trust him well enough. There's always Leonora, my favorite customer over in the storage room on the second floor. Keeps to herself and always closes out her tab.
Okay, so good leads. What's Roscoe's story? He was here before you opened the bar. How long have you been here exactly?
He's been here since opening day. I think he told me he was some kind of journalist. He got left behind when Spacer's Choice pulled out. And I guess no one's coming to get him.
Is he entirely sane then? I heard some stuff went down. You been looking out for him? I heard quite a lot of people got left behind, but you seemed a nice enough sort.
Roscoe's drinks are on the house. We all know how it feels to get left behind. He'll be all right. He's with the family now, and we take care of our own.
The family then? Any idea why he got left behind? Was he too slow to get to the ship, or just not valuable enough in Spacer's Choice's eyes?
He didn't tell me and I didn't ask. I'm his bartender, not his human resources rep.
Fair enough.
If you believe the chatter, a lot of good folks got left behind, and a lot of bad folks made it out. Sometimes that's all there is to it.
It's usually the way it ends up, isn't it? Bandit folks looking out for themselves. And Leonora then, what's her deal?
Nice lady. Been coming around a lot these past few months. She isn't with Sublight, but seems to know the lay of the land better than anyone. She spends most of her days drinking alone. I think she's looking to hire someone. If you're open to a side gig.
Possibly. I'd be curious about a side gig. She knows the lay of the land. Maybe she's a former employee. Would you happen to know if she spoke with a Lucky Montoya at all?
You know Lucky? Small asteroid. Now that you mention
From
it,
above
I
it
thought
looks
I
it.
saw those two sharing stories over a pint. Didn't think twice about it. I don't speak ill of the dead, but Leonora deserves better company. That Lucky was no good for her.
No? So you knew Lucky then? You didn't think a lot of him by the sounds of it.
Lucky? Sure, I knew him. He could get a little dramatic at times, but he was a good guy. Heard he took on a dangerous job. Spent a lot of time coming and going from the Office of Creative Incubation, just down the road.
Office of Creative Incubation? You know anything else? Do go on.
The way he talked about the job, you just knew Lucky had hit pay dirt. Not that I was jealous. Around here, that sort of luck can be hazardous to your health.
We know that.
Awful shame about what happened to him.
What did happen to him? I know about the severed arm, but the rest is a mystery.
You know about that? Huh. Word must travel fast around these parts.
So do arms.
Last I saw of Lucky was a few days ago. I went outside for a smoke and a stroll, and I saw this wild canid dragging a bloody limb. So I kicked the canid, scared it off.
Okay, was this the same arm? Do go on.
Get this. The canid was chewing on an honest-to-law human arm. Lucky's arm.
Hairy knuckles? How did we know it belonged to Lucky? Was he spinning a bullet around his knuckles? Those hairy knuckles I've been told about?
I'm a bartender. Attention to detail is my middle name. Anyway, the arm was clutching a phonograph that mentioned someone named Alex Hawthorne.
Oh?
I did some poking around, and this Hawthorne has a reputation among the salvagers who frequent the bar.
Oh.
So I packaged up the arm nice and tidy and sent it care of the Halcyon parcel service. They even gave me a discount on the hazardous waste removal stamp.
Oh, that's... The arm made it to me. I suppose I'm Hawthorne's next of kin. I suppose you could say I'm his successor. Do I want to share that knowledge? If I tell that to a bartender, that's going to spread around the whole place. Why did he bother sending the arm at all?
I figured Hawthorne would want to know what happened to his pal. Help Lucky get his affairs in order, you know.
I hear
I
you.
hate to see people go with unfinished business.
You do seem a nice sort. And the arm, it made it to me. That's why I know about it. I'm Hawthorne's next of kin, so to speak.
No kidding. And now you're here? Colony feels smaller than you'd think some days.
And it does.
I'm glad I was here to see this confluence of events, you know? The stars really aligned on this one. And here I am, smack dab in the middle.
You do seem awfully well armored for a bartender. It's almost like you're letting everyone else do the hard work. Where was Lucky staying, by the way? Was he staying here?
3rd floor. Once I figured he wasn't coming back to pay his tab, I left his room unlocked to air it out. You can help yourself to anything you left behind.
No one
Fair
else is helping
warning,
themselves
I've
first.
been letting the regulars use it for a quick lie down. Just wash your hands when you're done. Trust me.
Okay, that seems uncomfortable. You clearly run the place, though, don't you?
Yes and no. The Sprat Shack used to be a shipping and receiving warehouse during the old Project Gorgon days.
Okay.
When Spacer's Choice pulled their guys off-world, Sublight moved in to salvage what we could,
Ah.
and they put me in charge.
Yeah, that explains the armor, actually. I've seen that on Sublight before. So, Sublight owns the Sprat Shack, technically. They run the Sprat Shack.
Yes and no. Rumor has it there's a Sprat wandering around the Groundbreaker, and he's the legal owner of the Sprat Shack. Hagen's idea.
Sounds perfectly reasonable. And dare I ask why a Sprat owns this bar? It's going to be some obscure legal thing, isn't it?
See, Hagen didn't want a paper trail that led back to her, so she gave the bar to the Sprat.
She's a paranoid
If
one.
there were any legal problems with this place, the Sprat would do the time.
You know, they do something similar in Byzantium. Fancier system, but same idea.
Still involving
Anyway,
Sprats.
that's what the paperwork says. I don't make the rules.
Right. How would you even know which Sprat is the right one? That's my big question. How do you know which Sprat is which?
Easy. His name's Matt. The beautiful thing is, no one could tell Matt Sprat apart from an ordinary vermin. I think that's kind of the point, to send the authorities on a wild Sprat chase.
Yeah. That was a stupid question. I guess I'll try not to step on him if I'm ever on the Groundbreaker, but thank you for the legal insight.
As far as business arrangements go, this one's a head-scratcher, but they say it's all above board, so that's what matters.
And Space's Choice, don't mind that you're squatting in their warehouse. Well, I suppose if they pulled out a Gorgon, they don't really care that you're here. Unless they're worried you might uncover something. Does Space's Choice got any qualms about this whole situation?
Yes and no. We're doing a lot more than squatting. We're classing up the joint, keeping the riffraff outside where it belongs. They didn't even serve drinks until I arrived. Talk about wasted potential.
You're a bit of a go-getter then, aren't you? You can answer questions without starting it with yes and no, though. It's not exclusively a yes and no answer kind of question.
Yes and no.
Oh.
Again, that one was Hagen's idea. She told me that speaking in vague terms keeps you out of trouble. And I don't want any trouble in my place.
This Hagen is a bit of an odd one, I'm gonna say. How do you get supplies in and out? Is it... Well, we're occupying the only landing pad, it seems, now.
Thirsty people come and go from all over the colony. Mostly on the way to somewhere better. Some are well-connected. And not everyone pays with bits. That's how we get the unconventional goods anyhow. Sublight keeps us well stocked with the essentials, by which I mean booze.
Unconventional, you say? Do they not stock you with essential food? How about it? Let's see what you got for sale, then.
Don't forget to close your tab when you're done.
No, I won't. I don't want to leave a tab. I'll just pay right now. I can't see you've got anything particularly unique. You know what? I'm going to buy the drinks, though. The fizzy drinks. And the sugary drinks. I do like having a sharp mind. Okay. Adreno, where... You could always do it a little bit more, Adreno. We've got the bits. Oh, wait, hang on a minute.
Pace yourself.
Sorry,
The drinks aren't going anywhere.
I thought I saw something interesting.
Or maybe a sugar Sprat?
Retro rockets. Old-fashioned gummy rockets in a variety of flavors. You know what? I don't really need them, but I fancy them. That's all it takes for me. Alright, thank you. 3rd floor then, ladies. Mind the sprats.
You're a humbug, Trixie, and worse, a thief.
I can't steal what's lawfully mine, you tangle-footed dimwit.
Hang on.
Break it up, you two. I've heard more than enough of your shit for one day.
No, bartender's on it. Let's leave the patrons to it.
I wouldn't get too close to that railing, just in case.
Yeah.
The repurposed aesthetic reminds me of Fallbrook. These sublight folks really know how to overhaul a place.
That they do. It's all they seem to do is move into places that have been abandoned. I hear you on the, touching the railings. I assume this is the one. If she said, wash your hands after being in here, probably don't want to touch much of anything. Nothing in there that we want. The safe requires a code to unlock. Hang on a minute. Sir? Oh. What are we looking at? Bypass shunt. We're not getting in that safe. Ah. What's this, first of all? Several whiskeys in and a few bits short last night. Gave Lex the maintenance room key while I scrounge up what's owed. Maintenance room key. Note to self, pay up and get it back before you go to OCI. What, the incubation place? Case notes. Day 1, Space's Choice. Should we read this in sort of a detective noir sort of voice to set the tone? Space's Choice may have left in a hurry, but they didn't forget to lock the doors on their way out. Most of the facilities are sealed up tighter than a top rung is safe. Time to do some digging. Day 6. Caught a break today. Met a scavenger who claims to be a salesman for Space's Choice. Sold me a key to the Office of Creative Incubation. Let's just say this guy's about as lucid as a sprat in a Rizzo's factory. But I'm spending Minnie's bits, so I can afford to take a chance. Day 7. It worked. Clarence, mostly, whoever you are, I'm drinking to you tonight. See, mostly. So that... See, mostly is here, then. Interesting. Day 10. Olivia Ambrose's office and the journal ought to be in the Synthesis and Manufacturer Center. The bad news is, it's sealed up and at the ass end of the canyon. The good news is, I should be able to open it from the Bigwig's admin terminal in OCI. Day 13. OCI is crawling with marauders, and I've got a few other leads to chase down. Could be nothing, but my gut tells me there's more to this place than a missing journal. Time to turn over a few rocks and see what crawls out. I'm leaving the OCI key in my safe. The combo is 4815. Glad nobody's bothered to look at that note. Boom. Oh, no. A carefully preserved eyeball. Mostly intact. I'm going to assume this is what was in the incubation place. Ah.
As a medical professional, I gotta say, that is very well preserved and disgusting.
It's disgusting.
I really hope this ain't a sign of things to come.
Yep. Me too. And I'm also going to assume it doesn't belong to Lucky. But it does beg the question, where the hell did he get it from? Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to have to wash my hands.